Okay, welcome to Aggression in Sports Psychology for AQA GCSE. What you're going to need is the title, Aggression and Sports Psychology, and basically straight from the spec there, the bullet point. What do you actually need to know? You're going to have to understand the difference between direct and indirect aggression, okay, with application to specific sporting examples. So nothing major here. But by the end of this PowerPoint, hopefully you understand what direct aggression is, what indirect aggression is, and you could be able to give examples and argue why something is direct and why something is indirect. Okay, get that down and then move to the next slide. Direct aggression. Direct aggression is when there is actual physical contact, and that's basically it. Okay, actual physical contact between performers. The aggressor uses physical contact to directly and deliberately inflict harm on their opponent. Now we'll look a bit more at that, but it's not necessarily illegal all the time, this idea of harm. So you can have direct aggression that isn't illegal, and straight away you think, oh, deliberately inflict harm on the opponent would be illegal, but there are times where it isn't, and we'll look into that. But direct aggression, actual physical contact, okay, and you need to just understand that as probably a 2-mark answer. What is direct aggression? Direct aggression, actual physical contact between performers. Examples: high rugby tackle with force, judo performer throwing their opponent illegally with excessive force, a box punching below the belt. Now we've said about this idea of it being illegal or not. They are all illegal, but you'll see how you get direct aggression without it being illegal as well. There's some examples of direct aggression if you need them. Indirect aggression. It does not involve physical contact, and there's the main difference. The aggressive act is taken out on an object to gain an advantage over the opponent. They do not physically harm or injure, and they may act, and the act may be within the rules of the sport. The harm as such is usually mental harm, i.e. it makes the opponents feel less confident or worried. And there's your examples there. Smashing a badminton shuttle very hard to win an opponent, but also harming the confidence. Hitting a volley in tennis with power to win the point, but also to lower the opponent's confidence. So you're doing something aggressively, but it's not causing physical harm. It's more about one that jumps to mind would be a kind of big slam dunk where they do it, and you look at the person as they're doing it or whatever. It's definitely meant as a kind of mental act to kind of show dominance, show that you're winning, and try and knock them down mentally. So indirect, actual physical contact. Direct, actual physical contact. Indirect, no physical contact. The aggressive act is taken on an object. Okay, so let's look at a few of these. Hitting someone with a hockey stick, indirect or direct? Okay, what would you say and why? And maybe it's easy. Maybe just have a look at your notes. Which one is it, indirect or direct? Okay, next one. Hitting a spike, a volleyball smash, hard at the opponent. Right, so they've actually hit the ball at the opponent as hard as they can. Tackling hard in rugby, is that direct or indirect? And maybe this is the one where you start to see the differences. So hopefully you got it. Hitting someone with a hockey stick, direct. Okay, it's an actual aggressive harm to the person. Hitting a spike in volleyball is indirect. And tackling hard in rugby is direct. And then you start to see that it's not always about aggression as such being illegal. Okay, you're obviously, if you tackle someone really hard in rugby, in a way you are trying to harm them. Okay, you're not being nice to them, you're not being illegal, but you are being directly aggressive. Okay, summary: direct aggression involves physical contact, indirect does not. Okay, hope you get that. The next part of this is personality. All right, and again, subsection, heading, and this isn't too long either. So again, what we're going to need to understand, what you need is the bullet point is introvert and extrovert, and what does that mean? And maybe you've heard of these terms before. Maybe you've already been called one of these by a family member or a teacher even. You're extroverted or you're introverted. and examples of what sports these particular personality types would suit. So if you are an introvert, what sport would you be good at, and what sport could you be good at? And if you're an extrovert, what sport could you and would you be good at? Okay, so let's figure out what these are. Introverts. A person with an introvert personality does not need a high level of arousal. They can become over-aroused when overstimulated. And this idea of arousal is crowd would increase the level of arousal. The amount of pressure put on by players in a changing room, things like that, would be there. And if you play a team sport, you probably think about the different ways in which a changing room looks. There's some people banging around and crashing heads and shouting and screaming and trying to get fired up, and there's other people that will just sit in the corner. And there might the ones in the corner are introverts, whereas the ones crashing about might be extroverts. Okay, introverts tend to be shy, quiet, thoughtful, a loner who is happy in their own company. Play individual sports as they're self-motivated and don't need others to motivate them. Okay, so you need to get that down. That an introvert would be more likely to be a individual sport. They play individual sports when concentration and precision, fine skill is required. What we mean by fine skill is, obviously about fine pen, something that makes a really small line. A fine skill is something like shooting or archery or snooker, even something where it's a very small skill but it's very precise. Okay, and it requires a lot of attention, but it's low amount of arousal. So you can put people off in fine skills quite easily. Golf swing maybe is a fine swing, and they get very annoyed when people make noise. In snooker, you see them get very annoyed if people make noise, because it's this idea of low arousal. The crowd's not allowed to make noise when people are playing. Okay. Extroverts. A person with an extrovert personality needs a high level of arousal. So these are the people in the change room shouting and screaming. They need the crowd. They'll get the crowd going. They'll always need people to be telling them and getting them motivated for these things. They can lack concentration and often seek exciting situations. Is that you? I don't know. Are you somebody that seeks exciting situations, or are you an introvert? Extroverts tend to enjoy interaction with others, be sociable, be aroused by others. What that actually means is, by being sociable, you like being in a group, and maybe on the playground and things like that. You enjoy that kind of big group situation. Okay, whereas an introvert would be more likely to be, sat on the wall, out of the way, sat on the benches, chatting to their friends. Whereas an extrovert's more likely to be in the big hustle and bustle on the playground. Enthusiastic, talkative, be prone to boredom when isolated. So are you one of those boys that teachers get very annoyed with because you get bored? Okay, and maybe you'll have to sit by yourself because you can't not talk to somebody. You'd probably be an extrovert. You're more likely to play team sports. Fast-paced, concentration needs to be low. Gross skills. So this is the opposite to fine skills here. Gross. If something's gross, it's big. So gross skills, a big rugby tackle, or a big punch or a kick, or something that uses a lot of body parts is a gross skill, and that would be extroverts. Right. It also makes us know that extroverts are often leaders within teams, so they're more likely to be the most vocal and verbal, and try and get people up and ready and speak to. Okay, so just to test yourself, see if you can have a go at just looking at your notes, just on introvert and extrovert, and some of the things you've got there. Why an extrovert plays a team sport. Okay, why is it that they're going to? And then hopefully you can look at things and pick out a few of the words from your notes. An introvert may do archery. There's certain things I've mentioned about archery that means an introvert's more likely to be there. An extrovert may need people around them. So what do people do for an extrovert that the extrovert needs? Right, and that's three things. If you can answer those, now, I'll give you the slide and the answers in a second. But if you can, start to think about what it is, then you're already halfway there, and the lesson should be quite easy for you to answer about this. But if we have a look, an extrovert plays team sports. They seek out excitement with others. Okay, so this idea of being with others, I think that's about the playground. Often make good leaders. They need others to motivate and arouse them. So, that could have been a 2 or 3 mark question, and we've got excitement, others, leaders, motivation, arousal. An introvert may do archery. They're self-motivated. They don't need to be in a team sport. They don't need others. They enjoy fine or precision skills. So these very small but precise skills like archery is. And an extrovert may need people around him simply to motivate and arouse, and we've kind of said that in the team sports. If you understand that, and you've got an idea of what an introvert is and an extrovert is, and how that's linked to team sports, skills, what type of skills and motivation, you're doing pretty well, and I'll see you in the class.